Hello, my name is Kelsey, and this morning I had 3 cups of coffee and a pumpkin spice cold brew before work today. Welcome to the podcast, Can You Take My Shift? This podcast is about bonding with your coworkers, about how much you hate your job. So I have just one question for you, my beautiful little bean sprout. Can you take my shift?
As much as I would love to, my plush baby Yoda needs a lot of emotional support right now, so I just gotta be there for it.
That's totally understandable. You're such a good mother.
Thank you, I try.
Amy and I are back again today for a cheeky special little episode. It's almost September, which is gross.
Ugh.
And you know what that means? Grab your Jan sports and scrunchies, kids. We're going back to school. Yes, this is our back to school episode.
Woo! 24 and 25-year-olds going back to school, but there is nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, Bethany Moda, you ain't got nothing on us.
Absolutely not.
So we're going back to school. I'm going back to school for the third time. Yeah, will be my third university experience.
Oh, what are all the times?
Well, so I graduated high school in 2013. Then immediately after, I went to I moved to Vancouver to go to university. And then I did a year there, because it was either a 1-year or a 3-year program, so I did the 1-year program. Then I went to a private acting school to do a 6-month-long intensive there, it's actually an accredited college, but it's acting school, it's art school. And so now I've been out of school. I've been out of school for like almost 5 years, and I'm going back to a university to get my associate's.
Or is it a certificate?
I think it's an associate certificate in PR, because I have a lot of business knowledge, and I've taken a bunch of business classes, but I don't have a piece of paper that said she did it.
Yeah, that's fair, and that's what places want, right?
Exactly.
They just want that little piece of paper.
Yeah, we want a 4-year degree, plus a master's, plus a PhD for a minimum wage job. You know, it's just how it is.
How it is. Minimum wage, PhD for $13 an hour.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're going back to school.
I am going back to school. I took some time off between high school and university. It was supposed to just be a gap year, and then a gap year turned into 2, and then it turned into, I think, 3.5 years off of school total, which, look, everyone goes at their own pace. It was totally fine. It was that 3.5 years was not planned at all. Just like opportunities popped up. So I was like, do I take these opportunities or do I go back to school? Because you can go back to school at really any age.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
truly
any age. Yeah. Also, like, what, a 1-year gap year to find yourself? Nah, man, I'm still finding myself. So in those 3.5 years, Amy, did you find yourself?
No, I'm still struggling every day. I have a better idea of myself now. So I've definitely, those 3.5 years made me grow up a lot. Also, it made me eligible to apply for student loans on my own dime. So my parents my parents' income had no say. So that was really nice. Fun tip for anybody: if you stay out of school, you can get better loans.
Yeah, because when I applied for student loans when I was freshly 18, they're like, nope.
Yeah, no, they don't like to give it, which, you know what, it's fair, but it also, the whole loan situation sucks, but we'll get to that. No, I'm about to finish my degree. I have 1 semester left of my lovely little fashion marketing degree, so that's really exciting. And then I get the age-old dilemma of, do I stay in school, Sorry, I'm getting a fashion marketing diploma. Do I stay in school to get my full stay for another 2 years to get my full degree, or do I just, am I happy with my diploma? Which, after 2 years, kind of I'm good to go, but I know a lot of places, again, want that piece of paper that says degree. They want to see that you've stuck it out for the full 4 years, which is frustrating because, you do get a lot of knowledge.
No, it can be very frustrating, and especially when half the time spending all that time, extra time in school to get this degree, you actually lose out on a lot of opportunities. Now, I'm not saying degrees aren't worth the piece of paper. They are, because they are, but a lot of the times you don't really need them. Obviously, if you're a medical doctor, pre-med, you need those.
No, yes, you need those. Lawyers, you need those.
Because when I was looking to go back to school, I knew I wanted to go into PR and public relations because my dream is to be a publicist so I can tell celebrities, give me your phone. Stop it. Just stop tweeting that. So when I was looking to go back, I was looking at all these different programs. And of course, I live in the second most expensive city in Canada. I have to pay my rent. I've got to work full time. There's no way I can commit to going to school full time. But I also would like to get out of customer service as quickly as possible. So I found a program that completely worked for all of my needs. No, it's not a bachelor's degree, but a lot of it is, with anything about business, it's who you know and how hard you work. Mm-hmm. And the piece of paper is just that cherry on top.
Yeah.
So, do you think, because you're going into fashion, and a lot of the time, I remember when I was in acting school, and they straight out told me, you getting your bachelor's degree in fine arts is almost worthless if you want to be an actor. Unless you want to teach acting, it's not worth the paper and it's not worth the money. But the sad fact in acting is, know what's worth more than that paper? How you look.
Yeah, that's the difficult part. I would say in the fashion world, it gets a little similar. Not very much down to the looks, but it's very much... my teachers always stressed network. I remember my first project of first year was actually a networking project, and I was scared out of my mind. I had just moved to Vancouver. I had been in this class for 2 months, and I don't know anybody. I'm in a brand new city, and I'm quite introverted and quite shy, and I appreciate my teacher really helping me push out of my comfort zone. I still to this day have a lot of growing to do as myself, but in even in the business world, retail world, marketing world, you really have to be willing to network, which again, I don't mind, but it does take a while to get comfortable and get used to that. Being able to sell yourself is the most difficult thing there is to do. I'm not good at it. The reason I went into marketing is because I don't want to sell myself. I want to sell other people. I want to sell, the idea of a product. To me, that's fun. I'm let's run some, weird marketing ad campaigns. My dream job would be to run, a dumb social media Twitter account. Wendy's and Burger King's when they, fight with one another. I'm that's the dream.
That's a solid dream. Yeah, I think what it comes up to is really depends on what you're going to school for, whether or not you need that diploma, certificate, degree, PhD, master's. It really comes down to what you're doing, and is the time and money put into getting that piece of paper going to be worth it in the long run, or if it's not. Now, that's a little bit of a heavy start, so we did get quite heavy the last couple weeks. So, what is your morning routine? Ooh, we're really going back into the 2010 YouTube heyday.
Oh my gosh, watching Bethany Moto, there was another girl I used to watch all the time.
Oh, I think it's My Life is Eva.
Yeah,
old lore DIY.
Oh, super old lore DIY. Yeah, when they're all back to school, get ready with me. Easy lunches to pack, all that kind of fun stuff. No, I'm really bad. So Kelsey's going back to school part-time. I'm crazy, and everyone will say that I am crazy, that they know me. I go to school full-time, and I also work full-time. So for me, any time I have is very, very precious, and I like to spend most of that time sleeping. And Kelsey will agree with this, I just set 12 alarms to get up in the morning, and it is the absolute worst. I get it. I apologize every day for being the worst when it comes to that.
I remember, I think it was our first podcast, you asked me what's the worst thing about you being my roommate. I don't know if I ever brought up your alarms.
They're so bad.
It started in Florida, and the first time I woke up to your alarm, I was like, you had warned me, but I was like, oh, okay, no. It is this creepy alarm that starts off slow and then just builds and builds and builds, and you are a heavy sleeper. Mm-hmm. I literally, like, I was threatened when I see you're lying in bed, I was threatened to jump on you, and you always go, I'm not, you always think I'm gonna do it to you. I'm not gonna do it to you.
I get scared. No, because I remember one time in Florida, and I remember this was a story you guys told me. I don't even remember doing this because I'm kind of mean when I wake up.
Oh God, you're so mean to me in the mornings.
I'm sorry. I'm a very nice person. In the mornings, no. You gotta let me wake up for at least like 10 minutes or else I will like snap at you.
Oh yeah. You do almost every morning. Because I am a morning person now. I never used to be when I was working like late nights bartending, but now that I have a set schedule, I'm like up at 7:30 every morning. You'll stroll in and I'll be like, good morning, I did this and this and this morning. You just like glare at me.
Yeah, I'm like, let me have my coffee first. But no, so for me, morning time is extremely precious. So I will sleep in till I absolutely have to get up. And then I go and I do my skincare as fast as I possibly can. If I don't have time to do my skincare, I at least wash my face. That's like the big thing. Then I moisturize. And for me, it's just a comfort thing. I like to put on makeup. Doesn't have to be a full face. I just like to do foundation, concealer, fill in the brows, and mascara. And because when you had to go to school at the time, I was in like fashion school. And it's not like every day was a runway. But I love a good excuse to dress up, even if it's to the grocery store. You will never find me in just leggings and a t-shirt unless I truly do not care. And if I am in leggings and a t-shirt, I still look very put together. So I always stroll into class very colorful and very fun. And that's like my whole morning. I drink at least one coffee before I leave. And if I'm still feeling super tired, I will take another one to go.
No, yeah, that's a good solid morning. Sorry to interrupt you. I knew what story you were going to tell in Florida, how the first couple times when I was in the bunk bed, the top bunk, your alarm would go off. I was so done with you. From the top bunk, I only had one pillow, and I hurled it at you one morning.
And then I just reached around and grabbed it. And then I just reached around and grabbed it and fell back asleep. And then I woke up and I was like, why is there an extra pillow on my bed? And I'm pretty sure it was Kaylee, and she was like, Kelsey was really mad at you this morning, so she threw a pillow at you. And I was like, truly don't remember. I'm so sorry.
Well, because I had been out drinking the night before, and then you woke me up. I was like, I was so done with your alarm. And then I remember keep telling you, I was like, you need to find like an alarm that, you have to do a math problem or put it across the room. And you're like, oh, mine does have a math problem.
Yeah, mine currently does have a math problem, and I have to shake it so many times. I tried to do the one where you have to take a photo of something, but that one's actually like extremely difficult. Like, it makes you take the exact same photo, so if your thing moved at all in the middle of the night, or if you hit something, it doesn't register it. So then I would just get like extremely annoyed and like scream in the morning. Yeah,
and when you share a bedroom with someone, like, I am a very light sleeper. I wake up to any sound. Like, we have two gangs of seagulls that live in our area.
We're the West Side Story of seagulls.
Yes, and we have a gorgeous skylight in our bedroom that is currently covered in bird shit because one seagull.
His name is Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy. He decided one morning to wake me up by tapping his beak against the skylight. And I was so scared because I thought someone was trying to bang on our door at 6 a.m. in the morning. No, it was just Jeremy banging on the skylight for no reason.
God.
And the skylight's right above my bed, so I open my eyes, look up, and there he is. The pervert that Jeremy is just likes to wake me up at 6 a.m. in the morning.
He likes to hang out. I mean, I guess we're protected. If he's a gang member, he's just protecting us, so we do appreciate it.
Was it Morse code for you are under my protection?
Probably.
Oh God, what is my morning routine? Well, I wake up at 6 a.m. due to Jeremy.
Yeah.
No, I get up. the first thing I do is I always wash my face. I have a great skincare routine now. Thank you to Hiram. I watched so much skincare TikTok in quarantine.
So much.
So I wake up, I turn on the coffee maker. I drink about 3 to 4 cups of coffee a morning. Because that's just the ratio that my coffee maker is weird, because you have one of those pod coffee makers. I have just the good old drip coffee makers, and I've never figured out how to just make 1 cup, so I always make 4 because that's the best ratio I can figure out, where the coffee doesn't taste too watery or too dark. And I'm just I've just gotten used to 4 cups of coffee a day. It's a great coping mechanism. Then I do my hair, get dressed. If I'm productive, I was working out every day, and then I stopped because I was sad.
I just stopped working out. I was sad. That quote is great. It's
Flora's Lava on Netflix.
Please watch the show. At least watch the first episode.
Yeah, just watch the first episode for these 3 triplets.
Who are super short, very American men, but they're very sweet and genuine. So
yeah. Then I get dressed. If I usually have an hour after, because I used to do a full face of makeup that would take me 35, 40 minutes. We're talking full face, full bake, and I loved it. But now that I have to wear a face mask for 8 hours a day, I don't. My makeup routine has gone down to 5 minutes because I brush up the brows, put on mascara. I mean, it doesn't help that I got my lashes lifted, so I don't really need to do much.
We get it. You're pretty.
No, she treated herself. But yeah, and then after I either watch an hour of Netflix or YouTube and then play Animal Crossing.
You have a way more productive morning than me, man. You give yourself time, whereas I'm literally bare minimum until I'm you have outstayed your welcome in your bed. You need to leave.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've had to wake you up for your work.
Yeah, or I wake up when I'm supposed to start my shift. It hasn't happened a lot. You make me sound so terrible. I'm not a bad employee. I just have bad moments.
Oh, during quarantine, a couple of times you'd wake up, realize you're supposed to work, you'd shuffle over to my side. Kelsey, yeah, can you drive me to work?
I promise I'm a good employee. If any future employers are listening to this, I am a good employee. I just have moments. I think the worst thing I ever did was there was one night when we got accidentally incredibly wine drunk with our friend Daniela.
Oh, accidentally incredibly.
So accidentally incredibly wine drunk. I don't even know what happened. We just had so much wine, and then I had to work the next day at 8 a.m. and I slept in till 8:30. And I couldn't get a hold of anybody at my work, and I was freaking out. But I finally got there, and it was okay, because I was the person in charge that day, so truly no one knew. So it was fine. I made up a whole bunch of excuses, being oh, yeah, we forgot to clock in. Don't worry about it. So no one knew. And the girl I was working with was, totally chill about it, so.
Oh, that's good. She's a true coworker.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so that was kind of us getting ready. But now that we're going back to school, and my schooling's all online, your schooling's all online as well. Getting ready is going to be a lot different. Because I remember when I worked from home, I would roll out of bed 5 minutes before my shift would start, turn on the coffee pot, waddle up to my computer, sign in. And why would I change? No one's going to see me. But now it's really going to come down to, because I know Zoom is the big thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of online learning. So if they want to do discussions in class, here's the big thing. To turn on the webcam or to not turn on the webcam. That decides your whole morning.
Well, see, for me, so I got the privilege of doing the last half of my spring semester all online. COVID hit. We were supposed to so technically I was supposed to graduate kind of this summer, and then kind of things just hit the fan. So everyone, we were supposed to have a huge a school banquet kind of thing. We were supposed to have a award ceremony at my school that our class was planning. That got canceled. The 4th year fashion show canceled. And it sucks because these people put in, they put in like 4 years worth of work for this huge fashion show, and it all got canceled. And then everyone was just like scrambling online. So for my 2 months, I guess, or like 6 weeks of online classes, I never had to turn on the web camera once. It was all like IM chatting, and it was all our teacher talking. And if anyone had any questions, you could turn on your mic and ask at, like, you just be like, does anybody have any questions? And then you could just like turn on your mic and figure that out. They never asked to see your face, which I appreciated. It's just nice. And other than that, like, it was so bad. I did the same thing. I would roll out of bed probably like 20 minutes before my class was, because I was trying to be as productive as I could be. I'd roll out 20 minutes before, grab my coffee. I would change my clothes, even just like out of pajamas, because I was like, it doesn't matter what I'm in. Even I just like changed my shirt. As long as I was in something different than I rolled out of bed, I felt more productive than if I stayed in my PJs and then I would log into my class. That's kind of, I feel like, the best way to go, unless you have like super late classes. But my big thing is like, just change your clothes. Mm-hmm. That's like the one thing you're gonna do that day. Change your clothes.
Yeah, no, you definitely gotta change your clothes. When I was working from home, I would always go take a shower on my break.
Yeah.
Because it's the only job you can do. I would go take a shower on my break. And if no work was coming in, I'd be like brushing my hair, just waiting on my computer, waiting for emails to come in. But I do think that is good, that if you're working from home or doing school from home, you gotta change, whether it's from your bed shorts to your day shorts. Just change out of something, because in your pajamas it's hard to be productive, because you're thinking, okay, I just got out of bed, I gotta get my. It's good to change your clothes every day, because that was the big thing in quarantine. It's like, try to change your clothes every day, so it doesn't get monotonous. Now, what I miss though is I always loved picking out my first day of school outfit.
Oh, I know. I loved back to school shopping.
Me too.
That was the only good thing about going back to school. It's back to school shopping.
I miss it so much, because this year, my back to school shopping this year was, I dropped a bunch of money on a laptop since mine barely works.
Yeah.
And since schooling's all online, I kind of need a working laptop, that doesn't just die on me after 10 minutes.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Yeah, I dropped a bunch of cash on home office supplies, kind of, like, just so I felt more comfortable sitting at my desk and just more productive. Mm-hmm. So.
But, what about my first day outfit, not episode. First day of school outfit. If I was going to business, because I'm in the business program, I'd probably, go with a black jean, maybe a casual top, but throw a blazer over top so it says, I'm casual but cool but approachable. I'm 5'3", so this bitch is always in heels. Not stilettos. I would say I'm always in a good...
You're like in a pump.
Yeah, a good 2-3 inch heel, and I prefer a thicker wedge heel just because I have rolled my ankle one too many times. I need a bit of stability.
Fair.
So, and then I would have... Also, I'm not a straight person, so I always carry a backpack. So, because I gotta be functional. The only time you'll ever see me with a tiny purse is we are going to a club. I am not coat checking. That purse has gotten my phone, my keys, my cards in it. Let's go. Yeah. But school, no, I'm not showing up with a purse to school. I need my laptop. I need a bunch of stuff.
Need some snacks.
Laptop, snacks, first aid kit, You
never know.
Pocket knife. You gotta just always be prepared. What would your first day of school outfit have been?
My first day of school outfit it's always like a dress or like a romper or a skirt, because no matter what, you just always look put together. People are like, wow, you're wearing a dress, so fancy. And it's like, it's one step, man. Just put it on and go. For me, time is precious in the morning, as we've heard before. So for me, just throwing on a dress, good to go. And I like to make a statement, so it'd probably be a dress with some kind of fun pattern on it, maybe a quirky print, and probably just like, and then probably like to tone down the outfit, I'd be wearing some sneakers, to have a cardigan on, because I'm always cold in class no matter what. Schools are always freezing cold, and then you will catch me with my thermos, my giant water bottle, and snacks. Always snacks because I refuse to pay for overpriced cafeteria food.
Fair.
Yep.
But you will drop $5 on a latte any day.
Oh, absolutely. But I also work at a coffee shop, so that's easy.
Yeah.
Coffee is precious. Bean juice makes you go fast.
Yeah. No, I think for my first day of school, I haven't gotten too much emails from my new professors, but I'm very much doing I'm going to do makeup and hair, put on a nice shirt. I mean, it's going to be sweatpants on the bottom, just in case they're going to be, I want to see all your beautiful shining faces.
The work from home mullet, business on the top, sweatpants on the bottom.
Exactly. You gotta be ready. And it's going to be a very big learning curve for a lot of people. I mean, people who went into the online learning in the springtime, and then a lot of us new people who didn't experience it now in the fall. And it's definitely going to be, I'm trying not to mentally psych myself out, but I'm trying to also mentally prepare myself for stressful times, because I am going to be still working full time. I've only reduced my work hours by 1 hour just because I have to leave early one day. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's also, too, how do you stay on track? Like, one of the big things I used to do is every year I'd buy a day planner, a paper day planner. I mean, buying a paper day planner in 2010, I don't know what the purpose of that was.
Yeah, as someone who did and has not opened it now in, 6 months, it doesn't make sense. But as someone who's done the whole kind of back to school thing now, or not even the half online, I think it'll be really interesting because now teachers had a lot more time to plan and figure things out. Whereas in the spring semester, they were a little bit more lax because they were everyone is stressed out. This is new territory. I had one teacher just be look, you got to do these 4 worksheets for me. Hand them in by this date and you're good to go. Congratulations, you have finished my class. And in class, he was the strictest guy I've ever met in my life. So I was wow, full 180. But then I found out that he had to take care of 2 children at this time. So I was sir, I salute you. Here are my 4 worksheets. Have a great summer. Good luck.
Yeah. No, it's definitely going to be a learning curve. And you got to do what works best for you. There's no one way that's going to be the same for everyone to keep you on track, whether or not it's a day planner, a whiteboard, a million lists, a notepad, using your phone. I'm a list person. I just write lists for days.
I like sticky notes. One thing I learned in quarantine was I would write a sticky note for every task I had to get accomplished. I'd be on one sticky note, it would be Monday to, I'd lay out a wall calendar of Monday to Friday. What are my tasks I want to get accomplished on these days? And every day when I finished a task, I ripped the sticky note off and I was because I'm a very visual learner. So for me, ripping that sticky note off, I was oh, it's gone, out of sight, out of mind. And if I didn't accomplish something over, I would just move that sticky note over to the next day. So for me, that was extremely, extremely helpful. That was the only thing that kept me on track and not play Animal Crossing for 12 hours a day.
No, in quarantine, you were very adamant because you brought home Animal Crossing. You are one of those people who made that joke, oh, can we just put life on pause so I can play Animal Crossing for a month? And all y'all just manifested too hard.
Yeah, I was really excited for Animal Crossing. I was going to go to the store. I was going to get my copy. I was excited for my little poster. And then I freaked out and I canceled that pre-order. I bought it online. And I just thought to myself, this is not what I meant by I wanted to play Animal Crossing all the time. This is not what I meant.
So you would play it every morning, but then you would be I will play to this time?
Yeah.
Then you would hand it to me to play since we share.
Yeah.
No, the island is yours. I have one house on this island that is currently a hotel, even though I'm probably going to change it before anyone comes to visit our island. You're going to give me a heads up so I can make the house as weird as possible. Just girly things. But you were very adamant.
Yeah.
Kelsey, I am not allowed to play Animal Crossing till I finish, because you were writing an essay.
Yeah.
And you said, I have to do this. Mm-hmm. And I was, okay. I'm not giving it back.
Yeah, no, I think another really good thing, and this is kind of the frustrating thing with classes being online, is you don't have that, buddy camaraderie. a lot of the reason I only got through a lot of my previous first year and a half was I had a lot of great classmates. If any of my classmates are listening, thank you. I appreciate you for holding me accountable, and I also held you accountable. We were able to just kick each other in the ass all the time, and not we would distract each other, then we'd be like, okay, now we gotta get to work. So I think if you can have some sort of support system, or if there's online group chats, reach out in your online group chats, try to make a friend online. It's a lot less scary if you don't know what the person looks like.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. It's also, too, gets me to my next point I want to talk about is, so we're both going to have to go to school at home. Mm-hmm. We live in a one-bedroom apartment. Now, we can fully, if both of us are going to school at the same time, one can be in the bedroom, one can be in the living room. But a lot of people don't have that accessibility. No. So it's how to deal with roommates and family members. Now, if I lived at home, I would have my own room. My parents are I would text them, hey, I'm going to school. Because when I worked from home, my dad has a home office, so we shared the home office, and when he knew if I was on the phone, I'd close the door and he would know I was on the phone, not to enter. And because my parents were very non-intrusive. But a lot of people don't have that.
No, a lot of people don't, which, I brought up with my one professor, right? He had to all of a sudden take care of 2 kids, and every once in a while he'd be like, guys, I gotta go. I gotta see my kids really quick. And it's it's everyone has their own situation. I know when I was taking an English class, and some people came forward that they didn't have laptops at home. So how are they expected to write an essay within, he gave us a 2-hour time period. That stressed me out enough. I had a laptop. I can't imagine not having one, having to transit to school during a pandemic just to write an essay. Mm-hmm. That's not fair. So online school is definitely something that's not incredibly accessible for everybody. And when you live at home or when you live with roommates, it's even harder because you all have classes probably around the same times as each other. Mm-hmm. So it becomes really difficult.
And also, too, there's a lot of people who are not in great living situations, and school is a place for them to go to exit out of their situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known people who they also, too, it's hard to be at home and then being so focused when there's so many distractions. I remember one time I was working from home and my coworker goes, BRB, guys. And I'm like, is everything okay? And she comes back, she's like, yeah, my cat just vomited all over the floor. You can't account for that.
No, you can't.
And there's nothing you can do about it. Or people, I've had incredibly obtrusive roommates in the past who, I've been on the phone with my mother and they just open up my door and yell at me, why didn't you do the dishes? You're like, cool, I'm just... And then can you imagine trying to be in school, your professor's going, and then someone just bangs open your door?
Yeah. When I lived at home, shout out to our super fan, my brother Keegan. Keegan, I'm going to call you out for this, man. You are the literal worst when it comes to this. He would just come into my room at any time. And I usually kept my door open for the most part. I was at the end of the hall, so no one ever really came down there. But he would just come in at the worst times.
It's okay. My sister would do the same thing. She'll just open the door.
Yeah, and be like, what you up to? And I'm like, I'm either trying to go to sleep or I'm doing a school project. And they're like, okay, cool. And they'll just hang out in the room. Or he would come on my bed and he would listen to his YouTube videos out loud or try to show me something. And I'm like, I'm a little stressed right now. Could you just leave? He was like, what do you mean? I'm fine. No, go away. I love you, Keegan. But that's a toxic trait you got, bro.
I mean, hey, on this podcast, we call it our friends. That's how we show we love them. So we're calling you out, bro. Also, Keegan, I would FaceTime Amy. I hadn't spoken to her for days. And then you'd grab the phone. Who are you talking to?
Yeah, all the time. Love my family. They're great. But that's what this is why I don't live at home anymore.
And then now the second hard part is, so people who have, you always hated studying at home.
Oh, I hated it. I just felt so unproductive.
But now with COVID and the lack of places, there's such a lack of places to go to study if you can't study at home. Because I remember when I worked at the coffee shop, there was this one regular, he came in almost every night, and I one time just asked him, why are you here so much? I mean, him and I, we had a good...
Yeah.
This was like 6 months of him being... me knowing
All the
him.
time.
So I finally just like, you're here a lot. And he said, yeah, I live at home with my parents, and I can't get any work done at home. So I come here. It's just become part of my routine. And that's where he felt comfortable getting work done. But with COVID, like, when I think about the coffee shop that you work at, it's gone, what, from 15 tables to 3?
Oh, yeah, and it was all students. For 70% of the day, it was all students all the time. If I wanted to go there and study, I would have to, like, get off my shift, wait around for a table, and the minute one was empty, I would just, like, snipe it. I would just be in there, and I would just, like, throw my backpack on. I'd be like, this is now my table.
And another thing, too, some people, they don't have access to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So they would go to coffee shops that have free Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the whole, oh, no Wi-Fi password, talk to each other. Man, I got 2 essays due, I've got a group project, and unfortunately, I don't have Wi-Fi where I live. Like, go away.
Yeah, and especially when you live in in Vancouver, it's such an expensive city, and you have multiple roommates, your Wi-Fi can also be slow. Maybe your landlord pays for your Wi-Fi, but they pay for a really cheap Wi-Fi, so then the connection becomes really terrible as well. So online school is going to be really difficult when you have to just constantly be, like, streaming voice or video all the time.
Oh yeah, if we lived in the basement of horrors that we used to, we would not be able to do our schooling.
Yeah, no.
Our Wi-Fi was so terrible.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be, people are going to have to try, and also to the weather. So a lot of the good thing about the pandemic, I mean, there's nothing good about a pandemic, but it's been nice weather. So you can go outside. You can go to a park. Mm-hmm. You can sit outside, because a lot of businesses have those pop-up patios.
Yeah.
There's so many places outside you can sit. Well, now it's Vancouver. We all know we get that maybe 2 weeks of amazing fun girl fall or amazing autumn, or I don't know, whatever.
It's Christian Girl Fall.
Right, Christian Girl Fall.
Christian Girl Fall.
Yeah. And then after those 2 weeks, also, I want to say those 2 weeks, I look amazing in those 2 weeks, because I'm living my full goth witch cottagecore fantasy, and I love those 2 weeks every year. I prep for those 2 weeks, but after that, rain every single day.
Truly.
And you can't, I mean, you can be a weirdo or a crazy person that sits out in the rain trying to type away at your laptop. Not gonna work, but...
Look, that song, that's like if you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, that's not fun.
No, it's
that's not fun.
So now there's a lack of accessible spaces. So if you can't work at home, you can't go to a coffee shop, you can't go to your school because your school's closed.
Where do you go?
Where do you go? And that's why, like, online learning can be accessible to people like me who work full-time and who still need to work full-time and balance school, because if I had to go in person, it would be a lot harder for me.
Yeah.
Because my in-person school is nowhere near where I live.
Yeah, that's fair. No, it's a very, like, I know a lot of people right now are going to be taking a semester off or possibly a year off, however the pandemic works, but honestly, that's extremely valid. If you feel like you're not going to get your education's worth of, like, your time and money, you know what, just take the time off. Take the time off. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No, I get that. So we're going back to school, and... we've talked about making friends as an adult is really hard, and school is a way to do it. But now you're not meeting people in person. If your class never turns on the Zoom cameras, how will you find hot Jeremy from science?
That becomes difficult.
Like, how do you flirt with the hot guy in your marketing 101 class if you can't see him?
You gotta go into fangirl FBI mode and start searching that name on social media or on Google.
You hear his voice and you're like,
you sound attractive, sir.
All right, we got the first name. All right, you go to this school. Then you go full into PI mode. You're like, I got this. I mean, it just kind of takes a little bit of sadness out of it, right?
It does. It makes it not as fun. I mean, like, as creepy as this is, if you're in a class with someone, you can find your whole class registry on your online website. So, like, look, if there's someone you truly want to try to go after, Just class registry.
I miss having a cute little school crush. Like, oh.
Yeah, I had a cute... Funny enough, I had a crush in my introduction to marketing class. He was cute, and he actually would come to the coffee shop every once in a while, and I was like, hello, sir. And every time I thought of every time I made like a story in class, he'd always be like, wow, that's so interesting. And I'm like, I know, I'm so interesting.
No, the last crush I had when I was in college, I remember when I had decided I had a crush on him, because I was like, he's cute. But then I fully decided I had a crush on him. I stepped up my game. My hair was on point every day. My fashion was at point. I made every excuse to try and run into him. And how do you flirt on Zoom? Also, too, I've heard that if you try to send private messages in Zoom, the person who created the room gets all of them.
Yeah, I think it's for like safety and accountability and stuff like that, which is still creepy. So again, if you're gonna be smart, a tip, just text each other outside of Zoom or whatever your school is using. Make a class group chat. That's what we did.
Yeah, and then also, too, did you ever, when you were in school, you hoped and prayed you'd be put when they did group projects? Now, I know how you feel about group projects.
That could be its own episode, man.
But did you ever hope that you would get put in the same group project as your crush?
Oh, every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
And if the teachers, because I want to say the teachers know. The teachers know when another student likes another student.
Yep.
And if they're a real G, the teacher will just pop you two in a group chat. Sorry, in a group project, because I've had a teacher told me they put me in a group project because they're like, yeah, I thought you two had a thing for each other, so I just popped you in a group project together.
Yeah, that's like low-key inappropriate, but you're also like, thanks, teach. Like,
yeah.
A, looking out for me.
Yeah, but oh god, yeah. So that is the only good thing about group projects. If you get put in with someone you really enjoy, and you can work together, or you finally get to spend time with your crush, and you're like, ooh, yay! Until you find out that they're that also can teach you a lot about your crush, whether or not
you can work together with them. No, that's a big deal.
Whether or not they pull their own weight.
No, it'll be interesting to see if teachers do group projects online. I don't know if it'll work out or not. I had to do a group project online, but that was only because we had done it in class. So we just had to finish the project. Thankfully, Google Docs is a thing. Google Slides is a thing. So you can all work on it at the same time, simultaneously. But I truly hope that teachers will not do group projects this year. And if they do, catch me dropping that class as soon as it's announced. Like, I'll be out.
It's okay. I pulled up my course outline today, and there's currently 2 group projects on one of my classes, and I'm like, great!
Oh, Godspeed, man. I'll be thinking of you.
Yep. So I just gotta say to the professor, why?
You better be hooking me up with cute-ass Jeremy in the class.
Exactly. You better be pairing me with a hot, sexy voice that I hear over Zoom. Then I can make up my own mind. In my mind, Jeremy from Science either looks like Chris Hemsworth, or Kristen from Science looks like Tessa Thompson.
Ooh, those are good choices.
They are good choices.
Hopefully it's true.
Hopefully. Now, another thing is that it's hard to control, because group projects are going to be interesting also, too, because how do you fluff them off? Oh, I have things to do. Do you really?
No, you don't.
But you went through this, which I found so weird, with all the ways people try. So, exams. You're going to have your midterms, then you're going to have your exams. Now, we all know cheating has been around since the beginning of school time. Mm-hmm. If someone really wants to cheat, they will find a way. Now, they keep coming up with all these ways to try and stop you from cheating.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have your cameras on. You can't look down. They make you screen record your browser, I think.
Yeah. When I was in school, the teacher could see everyone's computer. So if you clicked away from something, they could also shut off your internet access, which I was like, oh, this is so, like, matrixy, creepy. Yeah, I always saw people being like, oh, teachers, like, take a screen, like, send us a photo of what, like, your desk looks like, so we know. And if we see you looking around your room, then we know you're cheating. But again, like you said, if there's a will to cheat, there is a way. I'm not proud. I have 100% cheated on exams, everybody has, okay? As someone, again, who's not, I don't test well, never have. I've had, like, legitimate, like, crying fest over tests. I was that kid who always got extra time on all her tests. Had to go to a separate room to do it because that's how badly I got stressed out by them. And so in university, I was like, no, I'm an adult. I can do this. Still sucked. I've cheated enough times to not really make a huge difference because, again, I have a lot of projects in my school. So cheating will be interesting to see. And I don't think there's any way truly around it because, honestly, if your student learns a way to cheat, I think they should pass.
Well, half the time when kids cheat, they already know the source material unless they get the word-for-word answers for a quiz. If your test is a multiple choice and they get all the answers, that's cheating. But if you're writing an essay and you just wrote down some extra points so you don't forget to do them, I don't really think that's cheating. Also, too, a lot of the time, see, I have a problem with a lot of tests because I don't think testing is an accurate way to show that someone knows the source material.
No, I agree.
Because when you work a lot of jobs, you're not expected to have memorized all the things. That's why you're allowed to have notes and, like, manuals and all this stuff. Like, there is a lot of fair memorization, but also, too, they don't leave you alone. Almost every job has a coworker, right? You know, if let's take the work of an author. So if they're writing an essay and you're grading their paper and you find all the grammar mistakes, every single author has a spell check on their computer or Grammarly, because as someone whose mind goes way faster than they type, I can type pretty fast, but my mind is just so incredibly fast. I'm thinking 8 sentences ahead of my fingers.
Yeah.
So in a test, I personally don't think that testing is an adequate show of knowing a source material, because it's also that too of the anxiety when you're working a job. They're not going to be like, quickly, you have 5 minutes to tell me this formula to this math question. You're just, because that's not realistic. I get why they have testing. I just personally think it's not realistic to all scenarios.
I understand, like, math testing or, like, science testing because, again, it's all, like, formulas and equations, and you can remember a formula pretty easy. But when it comes to, like, law or business, there are so many different ways you can phrase things, so it becomes really difficult. So I know a lot of classes I take, and they're just like final projects, but they're like, your final projects have to include all of these specific terms and you have to know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So then I'm like, that makes sense, because now I have to actually know how to apply what I've learned in the real life. Mm-hmm. So.
And then when you were going to school doing testings, you have your 2 different types of teachers. You'll have I would say there's 3 different types of testing teachers. You have your testing teacher who said, I'm sitting at my desk, I am not answering any questions, I am not helping anyone, you either know it or you know it. Mm-hmm. You have your in-between where they'll come up to you and they won't give you a straight answer. They'll be like, well, what do you think? And you're like, why did I call you over here? Yeah. And then you have the ones that want you to succeed so badly. They're going to fully help you out. And I definitely think it's going to be interesting, especially how teachers are going to teach. I know some teachers don't translate well to online. And then also, too, is it going to be harder to get any support you need?
Yeah, I know when things went online for me, our teachers were pretty great for the most part. They were like, as long as you come in, like, my one teacher had, like, an actual online class. The rest of them was very much, like, email to email. Like, my English teacher, bless his soul, I could just send him my essay, like, back and forth, and he wouldn't completely revise it, but if I was having issues, he'd be like, I feel like you could take this paragraph, like, a little bit further, or, like, you should expand here, or, like, this doesn't really make sense. And I think I sent him, like, 6 or 7 emails on one essay, and it was super helpful, and he would always at least try to get back to me at the end of the day, or he'd be like, if you don't hear from me by this time, just send me an email. I also had a teacher who, we had an online test, during that time, he gave us his cell phone number. He was like, during your test time, if you have any questions, just text or phone me.
Nice.
Yeah, and I thought that was really great. Like, that's your personal information, but it's something that's not, like, incredibly personal, and it's the fastest way to get a hold of somebody, right? Mm-hmm. Like, in an emergency. So that was really nice to be able to have that option.
Yeah, no, I I'm going back to school for the first time in a while, so it's definitely going to be interesting to know whether or not I'm going to get the support of my teachers, but I think that's going to be definitely interesting for all of us. And one of the last things I want to touch up before we end today is, so here in BC, we see our numbers rising, but our numbers going to go down or up once the weather gets bad. That's going to be a big thing we're going to see, because kids are going back to school, like actual in-person school. One of my coworkers, she has kids, and they're preparing for them to go back. I think they go back this second or third week of September, I can't remember. And they're going back. She bought them masks. They're both in middle school. So with the bad weather, more people are going to be staying inside. Like, people won't be going to the beach. But then there's also the risk of people being more inside. Are people going to try and throw parties? We've seen news cases about people throwing parties and getting like $2,000 fines.
Yeah.
So the big thing is, with the weather getting bad, is cases going to go down or going to go up? Now, if cases go down, do you think if they go down by December, in January, we'll see ourselves back in school, like in university?
I would personally like to think so. I think if numbers decline enough, and schools have now had a whole test online, I know at least my school facility, the building still is going to be open during the whole fall semester, because it legally has to be like a safe space for people in case anything ever goes wrong, and they just need to have that space available. So I think I personally would like to be able to go back to school in the spring if that's something I decide to do. So I think if cases go down, they'll at least maybe go to school maybe every other week. Maybe they'll have like set times where you go into school, maybe even if it's just for testing. I know some schools are doing where you only come in for exams, which is fair, They just want to make sure that you're not cheating, which is, again, totally fair. So I would like to think, hopefully, by spring we'll be back in class.
Yeah, I don't know if that will happen or if it won't happen for me, because I have to take 7 courses in order to get my fancy piece of paper. I'm taking 3 courses this semester, but for me, I'm planning on taking 4 courses next semester, because I just want to get this done as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have to go back to school and it not being online. I don't know if it'll be more helpful or hinder me, because I can't, unfortunately, sacrifice working full-time. So I'm obviously not rooting for cases to go up. I'm very much rooting for...
But you're rooting for things to stay online.
Yeah, I'm rooting personally for things to stay online because it's more helpful to me. But I get that that's my place of privilege speaking.
Yeah.
And, I'm not privileged to have to work full-time to afford a very expensive apartment. But, we all have our lives, and that's what we gotta do, and we gotta make it work.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting. The next couple of months are very crucial. So, kids, wear your mask.
Wash your hands.
Do your homework. Don't touch your face.
Stay in school.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it was funny enough because I was actually talking to a guy at class, and he's hoping to be back online by the spring too. So we'll see. We can only hope for the best. And I guess, do you have any final things you want to say, Kelsey? Just good luck to everyone going back to school.
Good luck to everyone navigating this new adventure. Let's all pray that I get straight A's. Because we want everybody to succeed.
We do.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. Play nice with the other kids. Don't bully anybody on the playground. And Amy, you're going to give the little wrap-up speech like you normally do, because you remember it far better than I do.
I do. This is my favorite thing. Well, just one more thing before I leave. Just remember, straight A's are great, but also C's get degrees. There's one thing. Don't stress yourself out during this time. C's get degrees. But on that note, you can find us on Instagram at Can You Take My Shift. You can find us at Twitter at CYTMS podcast. If you guys send us your DM, you can DM us on there. You can reply to us on Twitter if there's anything you want us to talk about, anything interesting you have maybe to contribute. We love to hear from you. It's always fun to hear stories from other people. You can listen to us on Spotify, on Apple, on Anchor, on YouTube, on Google Podcasts. If you go to our Anchor website, again, it's at Can You Take My Shift? It's all there. There's so many different platforms you can listen on. It's absolutely wonderful. And if you're curious, if this is your first time listening to us, thanks for listening. We currently also have 6 other episodes out. Wow, we have made it to episode 7. I'm rather proud of us. That's all we got this week. Hope everyone has a wonderful week. And I will just say, back to you, Kelsey. Can you take my shift?
See, I have to go to school, and I have a group project that I really need to do with Jeremy from science. So.
Oh, that's fair. We have discussed today Jeremy from science is very attractive, so that's very important.
Not to be confused with Jeremy the seagull.
No, no, 2 very separate. One is beautiful, one is a dick. All right, I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Thanks so much for listening. Please take care of yourselves.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.